In the trenches of World War I, soldiers were bleeding to death from wounds doctors could have treated if only they'd had blood ready to give them. Fixing that problem built the system that still saves lives today. Here's the real chain. By 1914, doctors already understood that transfusing blood from one person to another could save a badly wounded patient, but only if the blood types matched. Blood type compatibility had only been discovered around a decade earlier, and transfusion was still almost always done directly, donor connected straight to patient, with no way to store blood in between. On the battlefield, that direct method was often useless. A wounded soldier might need blood immediately, with no compatible donor anywhere nearby to connect to him in time. Field surgeons desperately needed a way to collect blood in advance and keep it usable, ready the moment a wounded soldier arrived, instead of scrambling to find a donor after the fact. The breakthrough came from finding the right anticoagulant, a chemical that could keep collected blood from clotting while it sat in storage. A doctor named Oswald Robertson, working with the U.S. Army in France, used sodium citrate as that anticoagulant and stored the treated blood on ice. In 1917, Robertson set up what's widely credited as the first blood bank in history, positioned directly behind the front lines ahead of a major offensive. It worked. Wounded soldiers could now receive stored blood immediately on arrival, instead of waiting for a live donor to be found and matched under pressure. Survival rates for soldiers suffering severe blood loss improved dramatically wherever stored blood reached them fast enough. Word of the method spread through military medical channels, and other Allied forces began setting up their own forward blood storage stations before major battles. When the war ended, the doctors who had run these stations carried the technique home with them into civilian hospitals. Civilian hospitals had never needed anything like this before. Trauma was rarer, and transfusion had always been arranged donor to patient, one at a time. In 1937, a hospital in Chicago opened what it directly called a blood bank, the first facility of its kind built specifically for civilian use, using the storage method proven in the war. The term itself came from that same military logic. Blood deposited ahead of need, available to withdraw the moment an emergency required it. World War II accelerated the system even further, with entire national donation drives organized specifically to keep blood supplies flowing to military hospitals overseas. That wartime donation infrastructure, the drives, the collection centers, the public messaging, didn't disappear after the war. It became the backbone of civilian blood donation instead. Organizations like the Red Cross expanded their wartime collection networks into permanent year-round civilian blood banks across entire countries. Refrigeration, transport logistics, and typing procedures all continued to improve, but the fundamental system, collect ahead of need and store it ready, never changed. Every hospital blood bank operating today and every blood drive collecting donations in a school gym or community center still runs on that exact same wartime logic. A problem that killed soldiers faster than doctors could respond to it became the reason hospitals everywhere now have blood waiting before it's ever needed. Follow Forgotten Record for more Real Chains history.